What did your crush do that completely ruined your infatuation for them? This girl I had a crush on early on in high school told me that she recently broke up with her last BF because his dad passed away suddenly and, as she put it, wouldn't stop being depressed and a fucking crybaby about it. I didn't talk to her much again after she said that. Reminds me of a Yahoo Answers entry. A most likely teenage boy was complaining that his GF wouldn't stop crying about her recently deceased father. According to him, it was getting in the way of introducing anal in the relationship. I miss him so much, so no anal. We went somewhere and she and her friends pulled into all 3 handicapped parking spaces. There were plenty of other spots, but these were the closest. None of them were handicapped in any way. Everyone does it, she said. No, they do not. Got convicted as a child molester. Yeah, that'll definitely do it. I figured out he was dating me and 2 other girls and playing each other against us. One night at a party one of the other girls wanted to fight. Honestly, I was drunk and tired and was getting in my friend's car to leave when she tried to start a fight with me over him. I just said, tell your friends we got in a fight and you won. Also, you can have him. I got in the car and went home to bed. That was the day I decided I would never fight over a guy. If he wants to be with me, he will be with me. Met a girl on a dating app. She wanted to meet at a club near me. I suggested coffee, but whatever. Show up and she's talking to a guy. Say hi. Learn she invited us both to see which she'd prefer and watch us compete. We both say, fuck that. I buy him a beer and we both go back over to my friends and hang out. Cool dude. We talked about EXS. She mentioned how she should have cheated on him because he was boring to be with. Yeah, I'm out. Had a similar issue where a friend said she should have cheated on her boyfriend since he was so boring and then complained that he liked a bunch of nerdy things like D&D, fantasy novels, and Star Wars. When she realized that those were all things I liked, she kept trying to insist that I was somehow different from him. I didn't see how, since he was also more popular and better looking than me. Pretty much ended our friendship too. I mean, if a friend doesn't even respect your hobbies and the things you enjoy, they never were a friend. Turns out that, if you wanna be my lover, you should not get with my friends. I thought that's how we make it last forever. Tried to pour vodka into my drink when I wasn't looking. He littered. Just opened his car door and dropped out a McDonald's bag on the ground. That killed it right there. I used to work at McDonald's. Dunno why McDonald's specifically was a magnet for litter droppers. A bubble that makes it all a space for some reason. Maybe it's because it's a tycoon of a franchise. I remember once, an old woman who used to always try to tip me for being a good cleaner. A Subaru car was parked after the drive-thru and was full of chavwai dickheads, and each piece of litter they used, they'd throw it out of the car window onto the floor, near to the bins. She could see I was disgruntled by it, but powerless, and told me to not worry, and she went out there and I saw a bunch of finger points, and suddenly a bunch of guys got out of the car and picked up their litter as if it was their own grandmother telling them off. What a legend. He was rude and dismissive to my little brother. I know little brothers can be annoying, but he, brother, 13, wasn't being nosy or disrespectful. He just wanted to know if my crush liked video games. I'm also really close to my siblings and wanted them to be included. The next boyfriend I had / current husband spent hours teaching my little brother to play old school StarCraft, and to this day 6 years later they still play video games together at least once a week. Upgrades, people. Damn, that husband sounds like an awesome bloke and the kind of person I wanna be. I have a crush on a girl who's got a younger brother, and I do kinda wanna have that kind of friendship with him. He is an amazing man. Fuck her cousin and have a baby with him. Wait, did that happen for real? Or is this a joke? No joke. This is for real. Oh. Had someone else's kid and played it off as mine the whole pregnancy. Fleeced my dying grandfather for thousands of dollars worth of homemade. He was a carpenter. Baby furniture. Ran off with it all after the kid was born too. Came home from work and everything was gone. I hope bad things happen to her, but not to the kid. This might sound dumb, but I was dating someone briefly several years ago that I had a red flag moment and walked away. We had only gone on a few dates and hadn't become intimate yet. He came to my house when I had just bought my first car and he sat on the hood. I asked him not to do that and he just laughed. After a few more times asking and him blatantly ignoring me and mocking me, I dropped him. If he couldn't even manage respecting such a small boundary, I wasn't interested in giving him a chance not to respect others. Not a dumb move. Very smart. He also may have been testing to see if you'd let him push your boundaries. You probably dodged a bullet. Imho. He told you who he was. You believed him. I have to say, if there's one thing I've learned in relationships is that you really need to watch for people who push boundaries. It takes a few forms. Saying that even though they recognize the reasons for your boundary they should be the exception because they are different. All that says to me is that they don't understand why I have that boundary and value their own wants/needs over my comfort. Slipping up and violating stated boundaries repeatedly. It shows they have poor impulse control or just really care more about their own needs. Pouting when you set boundaries or punishing you by withholding affection. Blaming you for ruining the mood/situation when you remind them that they are violating a previously voiced boundary. A lot of these are common in relationships when you're younger, but it's important to make the importance of respecting boundaries clear early on both for yourself and your partner. If you get your boundaries trampled, you end up unhappy and resentful. When they get away with it, they learn that their behavior is acceptable. If they can figure out a way to manipulate you into accepting it, that means they don't grow as a person. Married someone else. Yeah, that'll do it. Not always. Asked for my number to set me up with her friend. True wing woman. A wingman. We were hanging out in a neighborhood with a group, and she found a dead dog. Without hesitating she picked up a stick and started to sodomize the poor creature. I left immediately. Excuse me. We had made plans for Halloween. We were supposed to go to a club and meet some friends. She ended up saying she was sick and stayed home. About a week later, I'm going to drop her off at her house, and she told me what she really did on Halloween. She went to a different club with her friends, not ours. There was plenty of other issues in the relationship, but that one truth is what made me snap. I just dropped her off without saying anything, and a few days later broke up with her. I don't think she even cheated, just too much lying and manipulation. I dated a girl that would pull this kinda crap rather frequently. Nothing destroys a relationship quicker than a total lack of trust. Noticed an attractive woman a few times at a local hangout spot. One evening we struck up a conversation. This led to a series of casual hookups. We'd usually meet somewhere, which kept it light and casual. One night she invited me to her place. Pretty quickly I realized that this was the home of married couple pictures, etc. I asked if she was married, and she said yes, but it was okay, because he was out of town on a fishing trip. I'm not a saint, but it really bothered me, because I didn't consent to have an affair with a married woman. I noped out of there, and didn't look back. I've been used this way a few times. Feels awful finding out that someone is using you to cheat on their spouse. Not a crush, but someone I was seeing, ghosted me when I started chemo. I went on a date with a girl, she called me up, and we hung out 2 days later. Just before our third date, she had told me that she had just learned she would have to start aggressive chemo ASAP, and if I wanted to walk away, I could. I stayed. It was brutal, but I couldn't just walk away. So many nights, I was mad that I couldn't help her more, or was powerless to alleviate a lot of her surgery pains. But she got better. We got married 2 years later, and then, less than 1 year into our marriage, she cheated on me with my best man. Life's a bitch sometimes, man. Wowie, that was one roller coaster of a read. Hope life has gotten better, sir. It did. Laughed at me when I asked them out. That's brutal. No shit. It took me a long time to get over that. He wanted to abuse animals with me, and he was a porn addict. I feel extremely disgusted when I think about it. There's a girl at my job who I think is actually a psychopath. She has admitted to killing rodents and told this guy she was obsessed with she would kill animals for him. She also hisses at people who come near her. How she still works there completely baffles me. Is your coworker a cat? Total psychopath. Enjoys killing small animals. Thinks dead animals make a suitable gift. Hisses at people she doesn't like. As someone with 3 cats, you're definitely right. Moved in with her over the summer break and realized that we had nothing in common. No common interests or hobbies, and our lifestyles were completely different, and realized that except for flirting and schoolwork we really had nothing to talk about. Started dating with someone else right after I confessed to her. She didn't say yes or no, she said I need more time, and one day later she said, wait for me to leave him or give up. Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. Sorry I laughed at this. What's wrong with her? Nothing bad, but once we spoke in depth I realized how completely incompatible we are. Might be messed up, but you can't eat from good looks. Not messed up at all. I always say that ignoring signs of incompatibility just because they look good is one of the biggest mistakes you can make in dating. My BF, almost fiancé, of nearly 7 years recently broke up with me for another woman. He then told me that, after spending actual time with her, he realized they have nothing in common. They can't have a conversation other than basic work gossip, and there were other numerous red flags. Sucks for him. Why does he keep talking to you though? You're done with that mess, right? Edit. I mean yeah, but our breakup didn't exactly line up with the lease, so we still live together. Oh no. Mistreating people close to them. Major turn off for me. Even if someone doesn't have anything they can give you doesn't mean they're worthless or not deserving of kindness. Lift people up, don't tear them down. I loved my high school GF, and when we broke up in grade 12 I missed her ever since. 7 years later I messaged her to say happy birthday and that I hope she is well. Her reply was thank you. I finally got away from an abusive guy, but now I gotta live in a shelter. My dumbass said I have a spare room, come stay with me until you save up and get on your feet. Turns out she was a very intense alcoholic and squatted at my place for 2.5 years smoking poppers and drank with no initiative for anything before she decided to have a bath, started the water, then passed out drunk while I was at work. My apartment was severely flooded. I got evicted and I'm now living with my parents. My lease agreement was $1,200 a month for a 3-bedroom apartment with all utilities included in Toronto. I'll never get that again. Thank you all for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and to have a great day.